The return up for Parlow, leaves it off, here's Mia Hamm, in the box, the shot, goal! She's got the record!
Hey everyone, my name is Sabria Whitaker and I'm the founder of Grow the Game.
Erica Pioncastelli here, Tokyo 2021 Olympian.
This is Carly Jackson, professional goaltender for the Buffalo Beauts.
Hey everyone, this is Connor Moore, the social media manager of the Chicago Sky.
For the first time in franchise history, the Chicago Sky are WNBA champions.
You are now listening to
Women's Sports Matter.
Women's Sports Matter.
Hosted by Gianna Belcastro.
Arike Ogunbowale wins the national championship for Notre Dame.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Women's Sports Matter, your one-stop shop for all things women's sports. Guess what? I got another interview. I told you so. This is what we do here. I interview people. We learn about everything that's going on in the women's sports world. You sit and you listen, or you watch on YouTube, because that's the thing you can also do, by the way, if you didn't know that. I am doing something a little bit different today. I think this is kind of a first for me. I'm interviewing someone that's kind of big on TikTok. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, first of all, thank you for having me. My name is Logan on TikTok. My name is Sports with Logs, and I only talk about women's sports, but everything within them, like fashion, highlights, commentary sometimes, news, everything.
The whole 9 yards. I remember coming across your account, I want to say more than a few months ago. I want to say maybe 5-6 months ago. And to see the growth of that overall is it's pretty awesome. Can you talk about, when you first kind of realized that this was like kind of a big deal and this was something that was going to continue to grow, and any steps that you were planning to take to make sure that it would continue to grow after that?
Wow, that's a good question. Because I had when I started it, I definitely was not expecting it to grow like this or even progress in this way, I guess. But when it really hit me was probably around the Olympics. And that would have been maybe 6 months into my account. And then I realized whoa, this is really what I want to do. And I took steps, I guess, to start growing it, which was just posting more frequently, putting out content that is engaging other people who don't necessarily watch women's sports, and I guess hashtags and stuff.
Yeah.
So some of it, I probably could have worked harder to grow it faster, but I made an effort at least. But I definitely never expected it to get to this point, but I'm really thankful.
Yeah, I feel the same way about posting more often. When I first started this podcast, I was posting twice a week, and I was I can't do that anymore. I'm too busy. I'm too busy to post more than 2 episodes a week. And I think the biggest thing for even advertising a show, because that's basically what you're doing on social media, is you have to post so much. And then I saw the account grow on Twitter, because I believe that's my biggest platform. And the more you post, the more interactions you're going to get. And so it becomes your job, essentially, which, are you still in school? Because I know you were playing golf in Texas, but are you still doing that?
No, I graduated in May. So it was
Cool.
Going into the summer, I was I'll just do this full time and see where it leads me for next year.
One thing I love about the women's sports community is that most people that are, creating these things are people that are in college or have just graduated college. I'm going in my junior year of college. And I started this when I was in high school. It's such a long time ago, 2 years ago, so long ago. This podcast is a pandemic baby. That's what people refer to it as. Kaylin Bushhorn that runs the account More Than Just Balls started that account during the pandemic. And so it's we were inspired by sitting at home doing nothing.
Exactly. It was the perfect time.
I know. And with the pandemic moving the Olympics to last summer, I'm sure that that was your biggest say the amount of time that you were spending making posts was for the Olympics. And I know that you worked with a women's sports company with that. So could you talk a little bit about, that experience when they reached out to you, just what you were doing with that?
Yeah, so I think it was, last summer, Tokyo 2020. I started doing, and I started it with no concept of how hard it was actually going to be. But I was like, okay, I'm going to talk about what's happening. And I think I did like one video, a recap of like, let's say day one. And then people were like, but you're missing this, this, and this. So I was like, okay, I need to put everything that happened into one video, every single sport, every single female athlete. And oh my gosh, it was a lot of work. But after that, Just Women's Sports was like, hey, we want you to do that, but for the Winter Olympics. And that was so exciting because that was like my first big thing too. And I wasn't even like fully committed to posting on TikTok all the time or anything. Like I didn't know I wanted it to be my job. So going into Beijing, I was like, okay, well, I have to make it super special. And the deal, Just Women's Sports was amazing because I was able to post on my own page as well as like post on their page. And that was really, really fun. It was still a lot of work, but I'm really thankful for it. It was a lot of fun. And Just Women's Sports was like amazing. I love them.
I understand the fact of like trying to put all this stuff together because people, even with my newsletter that I write, people are like, well, you forgot about this that happened like last month. And I'm like, okay, I'll try my best next time to get everything together. And it's like, oh, you need to cover this sport more. And it's like most of my time that I spend on Twitter is just retweeting a bunch of shit. And it's just like, okay, this happened, this happened, this happened. And then someone's like, oh, well, you forgot about this that's going on in like Norway. And I'm like, I'm one person, I'm trying to figure out when I should post.
Yeah, I got a little like, and I don't want to say mad because I had no right to be mad and I completely understood. But I think it was last week, actually like 2 weeks before that, I swear every sport had a world championship, like swimming, track, a whole bunch of different soccer ones, like everything was everywhere. And I think it was coming off of All-Star weekend. So I was still like super, super busy. And I would talk about one thing and then people would be like, well, I find it odd that you don't talk about this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I don't have time. And like, it was very, very stressful, but I always feel bad when I don't include stuff, but I also don't see everything.
Most of my TL on Twitter is soccer, I think. I will see stuff on occasion, like the little what's that called? It's like this bubble on the top of a tweet and it'll be like this certain category. And I'll be like, well, I don't want to see men's South Carolina football team. I don't really care about that. So I'll like click the X, or it'll just be like a school or like soccer itself, but it's like the men's team. And I'm like, that's not really necessary. I do miss a lot of stuff. And I'll be like, yeah, okay. Like, oh, you forgot this rugby tournament that's going on. I don't know anything about rugby, but like I'll hit the retweet button, I guess.
Yeah, but that's why I wish more people. Pardon?
Sometimes people will get mad. I'll be like, you know what? It's just me. I'm the one that's retweeting all this stuff on my own time. So it's like, if you want to cover it, the floor is yours.
Exactly. And like, I don't really advertise my Twitter probably as much as I should. But if anything, like the things that they're complaining about is something that I would have like retweeted as well. So it's really annoying. But also at the same time, it's kind of good because if I'm like, actually, lately I haven't been like out of content ideas, but sometimes when I am, I'll just go back to those comments and I'll be like, okay, there's my content for the day.
Yeah, I feel that. I'll look at my mentions sometimes, and someone I made a tweet and it's like, okay, what should I cover? And so I got a list of a bunch of things, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. I guess I'll like follow this team now or something. But mostly it's soccer. I know you cover a whole bunch of stuff. I don't really know how you do it. Do you have like a whole Google Doc set up of a bunch of different sports and teams and athletes, and you go from there? Or like, how do you do your research to get these TikToks together?
Well, a lot of the day I start by going on Just Women's Sports and ESPNW, and I get like a good idea of like a big thing that's happening, I guess. And then I'll probably talk about it. But then if not, like I just go through random things and I don't even know how I stumble upon them. Like, I just keep on going down rabbit holes. And I think, what was it? There was the World Games a couple weeks ago. It was
in Alabama.
Mm-hmm. I was talking about lacrosse, and lacrosse was playing it. Lacrosse was in it. And then I went on the website and I saw all these sports, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that's crazy. There's so many. So then now that I'm like learning of new sports, I try to put it in, but it's also like sports all over the world that I try to do. To be honest, I don't know how I do it. It's crazy.
There's like sports that you've never thought like could be a thing, and it's like, oh, there's netball. It's like, you see that, I know it's real, but it's like people play that, and yeah, it's like the thing that's going on at the World Games, it's in the Olympics. Like, it's kind of like curling, where people like realize like, oh, this is the thing that I love, and it's only every 4 years, but it's not. And there's always world championships going on and a bunch of tournaments, and there's ways to figure out when these things are happening.
Exactly. I always get mad about curling because something about like TSN in Canada, they play curling. Oh my goodness. The second it like starts to get cold and transitions into winter, there's curling on 24/7, and like there's other stuff that they could play and some maybe better stuff. But I think a lot of people here watch curling because obviously they just keep on putting it on.
Yeah. I mean, I remember hearing about the CONCACAF W Championship, how it wasn't on TV in Canada. I mean, it wasn't even on TV here. I mean, it was on the Spanish station. I forget the name of it, but I got like a free trial of Paramount Plus so I could watch it with my cousin, because I was like, I hate that it's on like a streaming platform, and I hate that it's not on actual TV when, you know, you got these other things going on that don't really matter.
Oh my goodness, they were playing what
was it like a replay of a game?
Yeah, it was a 2018 World Cup, and it was like Colombia and like England or somebody on the men's
side.
That's so
stupid.
And then on CBC, they were playing it on a 2.5-hour delay, so it wouldn't come on until 1 o'clock, and by then you already knew what happened. But yeah, that was like really crazy. And the streaming platforms that you guys were able to watch it on are geo-blocked here. So there was like no way at all. I think I have a little website because that happens to me a lot, and I ended up watching it on that, but it was like super spotty and really bad.
I mean, mine kept freezing up too, because I think it's the shitty Wi-Fi in my house, but I had to keep like exiting out of it and going back in. It's like, I hope I don't miss anything. I didn't miss
all the ads that you always have to like click out.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Like the sketchy websites. I remember I was at school one day and I was watching it was a Chelsea game, I think, and I was like, go away, stop coming up on the screen. And then I would open up a new tab. I'm like, no. And then I would like delete my browsing history after that, so I don't have any of that going on. It's just like, we shouldn't have to do that.
Exactly. The new tab one is so hard, and especially like I've tried to watch on my phone, and instead like on your laptop it just opens a new tab and you can like click off of it, but the phone, it like, I don't know, when you go through your tabs it like goes out and then in, and it has the screen where like all your tabs. Oh my goodness, it was the hardest thing ever. I just gave up, I think.
Eventually I will give up. I was like, you know what, I don't need this in my life right now. I can just go on Twitter and people are live tweeting about it, and I'll see what's happening there, since that's probably what my TL is filled up with, is whatever game is going on. And you definitely know when a game is happening when you see people like in all caps tweeting like, oh my God, or that really just happened, or some like crazy, you know, like, oh my God, most of the time is what I see. Do you have any favorite follows on Twitter, good live tweeters?
Honestly, I'm like super new to it. I think one of my friends, Aaliyah, convinced me to get it. And so I did. And for like 2 or 3 days, I was really into it. And then I realized last week, I was like, oh, damn, I haven't done anything on there. I don't think so. I honestly don't go on it like that often. Or if I do, it'll be like at a really random time, like 6 a.m. And then I just get kind of confused. I follow you. That's great.
I'm sure you get a bunch of like retweets popping up on your TL. I apologize, because that's all I do at this point.
No, I love it. It's really helpful too, because like it's actually helped a lot, or Twitter in general, I guess, with like the search process for a lot of my videos, because I mean, you have everything in real time and you know when something is like exciting. Whereas when you read an article, it's like, let's say Chloe Kelly scored and it was an insane celebration. Then I was able to go to Twitter and be like, oh shit, like that was big.
Yes. I unfortunately was working during the game,
Oh,
but
so
I'm
was-
like, I'm on Twitter too. So I'm like, so my job, I produce a live stream for my local baseball team. And so I'm sitting on my phone like this and I'm scrolling, and then I'll like be like pressing the button, be like, okay, they just got a hit. Let me just go to first base real quick. Okay, cool. And then I'll be like scrolling, and my friends were also in town. They were in town for the Fire Red Stars doubleheader. They came in from Minnesota. And so I invited them to come to the ballpark, and they were telling me like what was going on. I was like, okay, cool. It was like, I can't really watch the game because I'm trying to think. Xfinity, it's weird because you have to have like the ESPN isn't on TV Go. It's only like in-home Wi-Fi, which is so incredibly stupid. And I hate it so much.
Either UEFA TV or Euro TV. It's a free account and you get like all the games. They're streamed.
The more you know. The more you know. Yeah.
One of my guy friends actually told me that. He's like, why can't I watch? I don't know. I think he was trying to watch Spain or something. I was like, hold up, wait. Since when did you watch this? Second of all, once he sent it to me, he's like, here, just make an account. I was like, look at you being resourceful.
I learn something new every day, and now I'm gonna create an account and everything. So I'll do that when we're done today.
It's really good and easy.
There you have it. The beginning of the TikTok creation, when you first got in a TikTok account, were you like, okay, I'm gonna post, or were you just gonna be like, I'm just gonna watch some videos and hang out, or did you already have that mindset going in, like, I'm gonna become a creator or an influencer or whatever the hell terminology you want to use?
Yeah, I actually had another account before this, and it got to like very close to 200,000 followers. I was very excited, but
that's a big number.
Yeah, it was like I was committed. I was doing every single trend, and then I don't even know how I got into it. I got into like book talk, and I'm a very fast reader, so I'd read a book in like a day, and then just make like a 12-part series about the book, and people would eat it up. I think the biggest one was Donald Trump's like cousin or something. She wrote an expose on him. But yeah, it was really weird, but I always hated it, one, because I never had a purpose, and everything I do, I like to have a purpose behind it. And then I think it got shadow banned and nothing was working. So I went private for a little bit, and I was like, you know what, screw it. Like, I don't like this anyways. I don't even know what I'm doing. So I made another account. I want to say, yeah, the intention was kind of like to grow a page, but I didn't think that I'd grow it into women's sports. Like, I started out rating like outfits, which I still love fashion, but I have a problem with that too, because like my thoughts can be kind of judgmental if I see an outfit, but I don't like to express that because I don't like to be mean. So they were like hit and miss, but people were more so watching them to see outfits. And then they got into WNBA pregame fits, then NWSL. And so many people were like, what? I didn't even know these were in season. First of all. Second of all, I didn't even know they had good pregame fits. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to switch and talk about women's sports. But I did it as like a hobby because I wanted to. I wanted to kind of please the people who were asking for it. But now the intention is like a little bit different. It still is a hobby, I guess, but it has more purpose and more drive behind it.
Absolutely. This is also a hobby of mine. There's not much going on. Just me sitting here on Zoom talking to people or talking to myself, unfortunately, sometimes. And people are like, isn't that your job? Wouldn't you consider that a job? Not really. Not unless I get like a sponsor. Because my free time, which is a hobby, like building Legos for people is a hobby.
Love Legos.
I love Legos too. I told my mom, I was like, for my dorm room, because I'm moving into school for the first time. I spent 2 years at home doing community college. So now I'm going out into the world, going to freaking Nebraska, where there's just corn everywhere. And I was like, you know those like the Lego architecture series where it's like the different like skylines or whatever. I had like a whole list on Target. I was like, this could be on my desk. And my mom's like, how old are you? Like, I love Legos. I've loved Legos forever. And she's like, no, your sister loves Legos. And I was like, Mom, how dare you, first of all? I was like, I wanted the Tokyo one or the Paris one. I was like, those are so cool. And she's like, are you 12? Like, no,
I just like them. I nannied for a family all of last year. They were amazing. But the little girl, her name she was like, but for one of her presents, she got a stadium. It was a Lego stadium.
Was it like Old Trafford or something?
Yeah. Yes. I think it was. Does Manchester play there?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. It was that. Huge, like absolutely huge. And we started building it, but it was like it was hard for me. And she like slowly started giving up, and I felt bad because I just wanted to like build the whole thing. But no, I really want that one. It's a little, I don't think I'd buy it for myself, but I do really want it. Like they're really cool.
I'm waiting for there to be a Stamford Bridge one because I'm a huge Chelsea fan. My work actually has there's one of in our lobby. It's so our field is Northwestern Medicine field, and someone made like a Lego display out of it. It's our entire field, and it's in like this case, just sits in our lobby. It was like someone decided they would make a Lego creation of our stadium, I guess. And we got some big fans out there in Kane County, but someone just made a field.
There's a website, I think, and you can like submit a creation and they make them big.
That's interesting. I actually gotta check that. See, you're teaching me so much stuff today.
I know a lot of random things. Like that's an odd fact, is like I know just so many random things about everything.
I love random fun facts. I would walk around my house and I'm like, Mom, did you know this? And she goes, what? Or I'll go like to my sister, Bella, did you know that like this is going on? She's like, I don't care, Gianna. I don't care.
Well, I do.
I'll be like, did you know that this many people showed up to watch Barcelona play this year? I don't give a damn. Well, guess what?
Now you will.
I do. I care, and you know now. I already told you. It's in your brain. You know forever. So there's that. I love how the Lego conversation turned into something amazing. I never talk about Legos anymore because I was so into them, and I was like, and then I got into high school and I was like, well, homework is a thing.
Well, that's the thing. I never played with Legos. I still don't think I have a single Lego set. Just all the kids that I've nannied for have Legos, and I try to like take them over. But I've never personally had them, and my parents never ever bought them for me. I think it was the other day I was in a kid's store. I was actually looking for a game for myself, and they had like a huge wall of Lego. I was in Wonderland. Oh my goodness. I was so excited. I was just looking at all of them, and I was like, when would I have time to do this?
When you were in Chicago for All-Star Weekend, did you go to Water Tower Place at all?
We had time to do nothing. We had time to like barely sleep.
Okay, because there is a Lego store in Water Tower Place. It's humongous. There's also like an American Girl store in there, and then there's like Garrett's Popcorn, and I forgot. I haven't been there in a while, but I know that the two biggest stores there are the American Girl dolls and Lego store. Lego store is humongous. And there's also Legoland in Schaumburg. A bunch of random fun stuff in Illinois, northern Illinois. Speaking of All-Star Weekend, you were here. It's a shame that I didn't see you. I was also there.
You live in Chicago? Wait, what?
I live in the burbs of Chicago. I live in Naperville. So I was in the city for All-Star Weekend. At first, I was just gonna be like, I'm just gonna go to the game. I'm gonna have a good time. And then I was also like, oh, what if you apply for a media pass? Because that's something you don't do. Oh. And so they let me go. They let me, for some reason, go. My stupid pass is hanging up back here. I have it on display. I know they don't want me to show it on social media or whatever, so I'm going to listen to the WNBA on this one. But I was there. I was in attendance, and it was a big deal. That was my first ever like in-person media event. And I brought my mom with, and she was just like hanging out at the WNBA live thing by herself while I was like upstairs, like talking to players and hanging out with some of my journalist friends. We had different experiences because we weren't doing the same kind of thing. I wanted to ask you, because I was following along on social. I was like, how is she going to all these different events? Like, how can you just tell me about the process of, figuring out you're going to be an All-Star Weekend and how you got to go to all these different activities, and if you did anything special for TikTok or maybe for another group. Just tell me all about your All-Star weekend.
I don't know where to start. Basically, I got in connection with WNBA before the draft, actually. And I was able to go to the draft, or they invited me to that. That was like kind of how we had the connection in the first place. Also, shout out Tish. She works with WNBA and like she made that connection happen. So I'm very thankful. But I think it was like, I want to say a week before, maybe. I got an email and it's just like week invitation to All-Star weekend. And you have to like go through this whole portal and RSVP or everything. But I didn't know like what was actually included because it didn't say like game, All-Star skills competition, event, blah, blah, blah. It just said like invitation. And so I ended up actually emailed the wrong person because the person I used to talk to quit. So that was a little awkward. But yeah, still went in. I think the day before I left, I found out like the whole itinerary. And it went from being like nervous to, because I had no clue like what I was going into, to being even more nervous, but also excited because like this itinerary was so long. So basically I was there as I think VIP influencer guest. They had me there as, and we had like a whole group the whole weekend. There's a lot to do. It was a lot of fun. I was very tired afterwards. I'll say that. Yeah.
I was also very tired. It was like, how I was watching, you know, some of my journalist friends work. Like there was this room behind where the conference room was. It was a bunch of like drapes. It wasn't anything fancy. And I was like, they were just sitting there typing away. And I was like, I could never do that. I think I made a podcast episode about it and I wrote about it in my newsletter. That's all I really did. I was just so shocked when they accepted my application. I was like, huh? What? How?
Yeah, they're amazing. Like they're really good with helping people grow and like wanting to pursue like whatever they're going for.
Yeah.
Which is really helpful. But yeah, for content wise, sorry, I forgot to answer that question in the first part. And you just mentioned working. I have like a whole vlog camera. And so I was intending to do like little vlogs on my phone for TikTok and then vlog it for YouTube. And I think that failed like before the first day was even over. It was just a lot that I would have to do in general, but I needed to figure out a balance between like talking to a vlog camera and like showing what's going on, because I found that incredibly difficult. And so I think I think Saturday was a skills competition. I think that's when I gave up. So I lasted, I didn't even do the dinner on Friday. I lasted like maybe 2 hours with that. And then I was just like, you know what? I also bought a content phone. So I was like, I have this phone. I'll just forget the vlogging. I don't know, maybe talk about it afterwards. So I just went with my phone.
Yeah, I was also gonna vlog, but then I'm still kind of in that phase where it's like, it feels really awkward to do this. I've been doing this for 2 years and I'm now like going out in the world and actually like creating content. It's just like so weird because I'm still this very shy person that's like, I don't want to do anything and I don't want to interact with people. And it's like, no. And I filmed like a test video, had my mom film it because I didn't have anybody else there that I knew. And then I like took videos of everything that was going on at WNBA Live. I don't know what to do with all the videos that I took. Maybe I'll do something for like, a month ago was All-Star weekend. You know, I think that's what I'm going to do. Actually, I'll try and make a TikTok. My TikTok page, not doing so well. You got any tips?
No, I was thinking today, the algorithm, like,
yeah,
when I first started, my views, I probably had like, when I first started getting a good amount of followers, so let's say I had like 40K. I remember being like between 40 and 60K followers. My views were popping off. They were so good. I was like consistently over 10K views for sure. And then the algorithm just keeps on changing, and you can literally have a video with like 2 million views and your next one gets like 1,000. Like I don't even know how to work around it anymore. And I used to call myself like the master of the algorithm.
Yeah, it's just like, I'll pull up my page right now. I just got one, but it's like I am a 20-year-old person that doesn't know how to use TikTok. That's what I tell everybody. I feel like old using social media because I I don't know how to do it. I feel like my grandma, it's just like we are born in the social media age, and just I don't know how to do it. So yeah,
for sure. And trends are like constantly changing. Like it's crazy how fast they fly now. There's something new almost every single day. But
yeah, I don't even mess with it. Like the first video I posted like a minute or two of my interview with Erica Piancastelli, and it got 72 likes, 2 comments, and 1,328 views.
That's not bad.
Thank you. And then after that, I posted a video with Carly Jackson that got 900 views. And then I did another video, 525, and it kept going down. And it's like, I only have 36 followers.
Oh, those are good numbers. What the heck?
No.
Yes.
I made a video. I took the time to edit something together because I was like, this is such a good video. It's going to do so well. It got 53 views. I did a video highlighting what went on last week in the NWSL and did not do very well. But also, like, I don't have any expectations with TikTok, like how I don't have any expectations with YouTube, because I feel like video stuff is really hard to get views with.
Yeah.
So I kind of just stick to the podcasting mostly, and Twitter is fine with posting questions. That's more my thing. I'll ask a question, people interact with it. Those are some good numbers. I move on. Video editing stuff, I'm trying my best, but it's hard. It's hard to edit videos.
Oh my gosh, it is so hard. Even on TikTok, like I would spend like almost close to half an hour editing my videos because I like to I don't like when there's a pause before I start talking or move on or whatever. So I need to cut every single clip by a second, and then the captions are a pain, and then putting text because for some reason I like to fact check after I make my video rather than before. So that's always a pain. But yeah, it's a long process and it's a lot of work.
Like I was editing the NWSL video that I did, and I did it on WeVideo because that's how I edit my shows. It was like I don't even have a Mac, so I can't get a Final Cut Pro or anything. I don't even know, or Premiere, I think, is another one. But I use WeVideo in school during the pandemic. So I was like, and I'm just gonna stick with it. It's $50. And I just whatever. And so I was editing it. It's so long. It's you put the picture in, you gotta line it up with what you're saying. I recorded stuff first. I wrote a script. I hate writing scripts. I wrote a script. I put the pictures on top, and then I made a little transition thing. And I was like, okay, this is cool. 2 views. 53. But did you edit it on your phone? No, I edited it on my computer.
For your phone, use CapCut. That's really good.
I've heard of CapCut. I hate my phone. So I do everything on my computer, and then I put it in my Google Drive, and I save it to my camera roll and just post it.
That's a good idea.
I'm lazy, so I literally can't sit there and be like, okay, let me move it slightly, and then it's 5 seconds later. No, I don't want that. It's easier to do it when you have a handy dandy mouse and you're just moving it ever so slightly, 0.1 seconds. Cut. Oh, perfect. Okay, I don't have to mess with it anymore. Yeah. So editing is a fun time. It's a great time.
Yeah, I think my friend works in sports editing and stuff. He's insane at it. And I had something going on last week, and I had to post a TikTok of it, but the clip was 25 minutes and I needed to cut it down to between 2 and 3 minutes is what I wanted. But I had to do it on my Mac because my phone, I think it was too long, and it was just too tedious to do with my fingers. Oh my gosh, I probably called him 3 times, just bawling my eyes. I was like, I can't do it. And I finally ended up giving up, but at an okay stage, it was acceptable to post. And I probably spent 7 hours on it, and it was bombed. It was so bad. I think there was I don't know, 4,000 or something, but the video should have got more, I made it with the intention that I wanted it to get more.
I feel you. Yep. I feel you. Yeah, it takes forever. I was editing a video last night, the one that I posted today on the Women's Sports Center Twitter account. The Tatum Milazzo scored a goal, and she was listing out, for the people that don't know, she was listing out some of her goals that I asked her about that when we did our episode in June. And one of her goals was being on the NWSL Best 11 of the Month. That happened literally when we were recording, and there was like a pause when we were done, because stupid Zoom, and we both found out and was like, oh, okay, so we're gonna talk about this now. And then she also was like, I would love to score a goal this season. So that happened yesterday. So I did like a little edit of that, and I posted that. And I posted to the TikTok to see how it does. But yeah, that took maybe an hour to do, just because it was a 30-second video and you got to cut everything together and you got to download the video from Twitter and cut everything right, and find the music to go in the background of I'm also not good at editing in general, so it's just like I don't know what works and what doesn't work. Like the music probably was hard to add, but I wanted music in the background. I didn't just want it to be the announcers. So I was like, well, let's use royalty-free music from WeVideo and see what fits in the background. It's not very good music selections, I will tell you. It's so bad.
Royalty-free music is always bad. Like
it is.
They don't have anything good, and they never have what you're looking for.
No, not at all. That's what I love about WeVideo. Shout out to WeVideo. WeVideo, you should sponsor me because I pay for your crappy service. So you are a Canadian. That's the
Yes.
Yes. I have a friend that goes to school in Canada, and I asked him if he had any questions for a fellow Canadian. And he asked if you had a drink order from Tim Hortons that you would like to share with everybody. Your favorite drink from there.
No, I do not like Tim Hortons.
You don't like Tim Hortons?
No, I'm a Timmy's hater. Like, okay. I love when people come here and have it. I'm all for it. And even if I see like my American friends on their stories be like, first time at Timmy's, I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm so happy for you. But I will not willingly go there by myself. If I do, though, it'll be, they have like an apple cinnamon tea, because I normally go in the winters. I'll get that. Maybe an ice cap with oat milk or no milk if they don't have oat milk, but it'll be a small one. I really don't like it.
Is there any reason that you're a hater, or is it just like?
No, not my parents were like Starbucks snobs when I was growing up, and they hated on Timmy's, I guess, but also playing hockey, like everybody always got Timmy's. I don't think the coffee is that bad, but no, something about it, I just don't like it.
Interesting. I was looking up all the locations that they have in the US, because they're like, oh, maybe they're just in one place. Turns out that they're not, and they're like I think it's like 15 different states. And I'm sitting here like, why doesn't Illinois have one? Like Illinois should have one. No.
Oh.
It's weird. Ohio has some, in Indiana and Michigan, but Illinois is like, no, we don't want
I think Indiana was what I was thinking of.
There's a bunch of them. There's some in California, I think, Texas, or they're going into Texas. Another random conversation here on Women's Sports Matter, but this is the journalism that everybody wants. New York, Pennsylvania, I want to say Vermont, possibly.
Probably.
I'm trying to remember.
That's wild. I knew there were some states, but I didn't know that many.
Yeah, there's a lot. There is a lot. I was just curious. He also, my friend, he calls it Tom Hortons. We were talking one day and he was like, I went to Tom Hortons today. I was like, oh, you did? Like, I didn't know it existed. I was like, what did you get? And he was like, oh, you went to Tim Hortons. And he was like, yeah. So, but I haven't talked about my friend out here in a while, because usually every time I have a Canadian guest, I have to ask about Tim Hortons, because he wants to know what everyone's order is. I don't even know what his order is.
I don't eat actually, the potato wedges are really good, I have to say. Other than that,
they have potato wedges?
Yeah, actually sometimes, because half the time I go, they don't even have them, and it makes me really mad. But when they do, they're really good.
Okay.
And
then
it's sad.
The sour cream donuts, or well, not sour cream. What is it? Am I right? The glazed something weird.
Oh, yeah.
That was another one that he wanted to know.
I used to eat those a lot as a kid. I've been oh, sorry, my dog's barking. I've been vegan for like a hot minute, so I haven't had those lately.
I talked about it with someone before, and I was like, those are a thing, because I think they brought it up, and I was just like, I don't know if I would eat it.
No, okay. I don't know if there's actual sour cream in them, to be honest.
But it's like, why do they call it that? See, they're lying to us. That's what they want to do. Is they want to spread misinformation because we're in the age of misinformation now.
maybe somebody like if there's not sour cream in them, the most I can think of is like, this is gonna sound really gross. Like when sour cream, there's like a thin layer and it dries. I would say like that's the most that it looks like sour cream.
That's gross.
It's like a glaze.
Have you been to Portillo's before?
No.
So Portillo's, it's mostly a Chicago thing. And but they have other locations in the US and they have this chocolate cake. And my whole family loves it. I'm not much of a chocolate fan, and I do not eat the chocolate cake anywhere because it has mayo in it. They put mayo in this freaking cake. I know, right? And people willingly eat it. I forgot. I think because my sister's allergic to peanuts, and so we always look at the ingredients to make sure that she can have stuff. And my mom was reading the ingredients, and she said mayo, and I was like, "Hold up, there's mayo in this cake I just ate? Forget it. I'm not eating this anymore." Also, it's a little bit too much chocolate for me. It's a lot, and they have like a chocolate cake shake. They put like a slice of cake in the freaking thing. It's what? Next time you come to Chicago, gotta go to Portillo's.
Yeah, I definitely will. I think I'm going to try to spend like longer there because I actually really enjoyed Chicago. I love New York, and I like downtown Toronto, but it's not like, probably because I live here, it's not like the greatest thing, but it's a mixture between New York and Toronto, and I really enjoyed it. But I'm like mad that we didn't have any time because like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we were just packed.
Just so much stuff. No time to go around. I was going to be like, did you go to museum campus? No, nothing.
No, the most we went to like a park for the hoop bus on Friday. There was a waterfall.
Oh, you went to Millennium Park, I believe. That's the one with it's got the digital screens and it's like the faces and the mouths open up and it squirts the water. Is that what we're talking about?
No.
That's not the fountain. No, you went to Buckingham Fountain then?
There was the bridge where the river is, and it was like down that like.
Well, there's a lot of bridges.
Oh dang. There's like a walking bridge. You can walk across it. There was like some ferries down there, I think. I don't know. You walk like 4 blocks. It was pretty much just like an open square. I don't remember what it was called.
See, my parents are from the city. I lived in the burbs my entire life, so I don't really know. I'm trying to think.
I can find it. Let's see.
I don't remember, but since you were very perplexed by the idea of a fountain having faces on it, there's this thing called Millennium Park. And for people that are not from the city or are very confused as well, there's various art displays around Millennium Park. You also have the Bean being close by and just abstract art all around the city. And these fountains.
Cut you off quickly.
Hmm?
I'm gonna cut you off quickly.
Okay.
One time, Aaliyah and I were walking home at like 3:00 in the morning. Definitely a little bit intoxicated, and we are just like, I think we were looking down or looking at our phones, whatever, and something catches our eye, and we were both so freaked out. There was like Humpty Dumpty heads, kind of, but their eyes were super big, and they had like big like Joker like smiles, and they were statues. It was terrifying. But go on, sorry.
Interesting. I have not heard of that. I'll have to ask around. These fountains, they have faces on them, and well, it's a screen, and it pops up, and every time like water comes out, it's like the person is spitting, so it's like a waterfall, kind of like that. It's really weird and creepy, and I'm not a fan of it personally. I also cut my knee on the what's it called? I don't remember the grate or whatever, like, because I fell. I was running around and I fell walking in there by like the drainage. And so that was a fun childhood memory from my camp days when I was a little kid. And so those are the fountains. I don't know exactly what they're called, but that's in Millennium Park. and they have faces on them. And when it's time for the water to come out of the fountain, the faces will show up and they will spit out the water.
I'm still trying to figure out where this was. I know that it was definitely not there for sure.
Was it so you were by the river?
I think so. I know, like I have it in the back of my head too.
Is it like by Wacker Road? And there's like it's like a little area, and there's also like a bunch of these like bars around. No, well, I've been
There were
over
food
there.
shops in a square.
Do you remember specifically where you were? Like any street names or
I don't. Oh wait, maybe.
So you didn't go to Millennium Park.
I don't think so.
So there's Grant Park, there's Maggie Daly Park. There is, I don't know if you would have been up north by Navy Pier. So you must have been in the city.
Oh, hold on. I think I found something. This is really gonna bother me. Whoa. What?
Northerly Island Park?
Oh. It just says the plaza.
Where's it at?
Oh, Daly Plaza? Dally? D-A-L-E-Y?
Yeah, Daly Plaza.
But I wanted to see the beans so bad because I cannot.
It's not that interesting.
I know, but I can't believe that it's real until I actually see it.
Well, it's nothing special. It's at least from my perspective. Like I had an 8th grade trip to Chicago, and so one of the things we did was go to the Bean, and it's like, oh well, this is a thing. But I also like went downtown with my mom a lot, and so we would go there sometimes, and it's just like Cloudgate is not a very fun activity. It's just like there's so many other things to Millennium Park. Or you can go to Maggie Daly Park or Museum Campus, which is there's a few things going on over there. There is the Science and Industry Museum, there's the Field Museum, and then there's the Planetarium. Then there's Soldier Fields right over there. So I feel like Museum Campus is more fun than Millennium Park. But that's just me. That's how I feel about that as a native Illinois person that sometimes travels to the city, because I will not say that I'm from Chicago. That's one thing that I will not do because I am not from there.
Interesting. There's a lot of people who like just say the closest city.
Yeah, I know, but I have seen the talks from people on WNBA Twitter, and it's just like, you know what? Since I see that you are not a fan of people that do this, and since I have never lived in the city before, I'm going to say I'm from the Chicagoland area.
That's fair.
So I'm glad I taught you a little bit about what's going on in the city.
Thank you.
Keep
that in mind next time I go.
Yeah, there's not much. There's the Sox, the White Sox. I don't like the Cubs. I don't recommend the Cubs.
What about the Bears?
I mean, I'm not much of a football person.
Oh, the Bears are like, I was raised liking the Bears, so.
Interesting. I mean, I'll root for them. I don't like any other team, maybe like the 49ers, but like, I don't really like football.
Yeah.
So I'm just chilling. I will be a hater for people that like Green Bay. My sister likes Green Bay for some reason because she wants to be the person that's like, you know what? You like this team? Guess what? I'm going to like your rival. Okay, sure. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of house I live in, with the troublemaker trying to be like, I like the Cubs. I like the Packers. Oh, guess what? I like the Nashville Predators. What? This is what I deal with.
I used to do that, but if like my dad was watching something and he'd be rooting for one team, unless it was not the New York Rangers, because that's like my team, I would root against the other team every single time just to make him mad. I root for the other team. Sorry.
It's funny.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I get yelled at work. Well, yelled at. People look at me because I have like a collection of jerseys that I wear, mostly soccer jerseys. So people will be like, "Oh, so what's today's shirt?" I'll be like, "Ha, I'm not wearing anything." Like yesterday, someone was like, "So what team you got on your shirt?" And I was like, "I'm wearing a Fall Out Boy shirt." Like, and not everything in my wardrobe is sports related, although 90% of it is, unfortunately.
But that's okay.
I don't have that many other clothing options. Like a bunch of my stuff is packed. So I have like 10 shirts in my drawer that I'm like not going to use. And so all my sports stuff is really packed away at this point. I am going to the Storm Sky game tomorrow. So I do have my Sky jersey ready to go. But besides that, like, yeah, not much. Not much going on outside of sports clothing. I know you're into fashion. Is there a correct way or an incorrect way to style a jersey? Because I wear a jersey with jeans or sweatpants and I call it a day.
Yeah.
But like, do you have any fashion tips for me? Because I'm always looking for some good fashion advice on how to correctly style a jersey.
Okay, I'm gonna start off by saying I say I love fashion, but I like looking at fashion. I don't like dressing myself. But I think jerseys are hard because I'm always like looking at different ways to wear jerseys. I think it might be like the cut of it, like the way that it's like a tank top, but not.
Mm-hmm.
Soccer jerseys are easier because they're like shirts. But as for basketball jerseys, like, I mean, I feel like a hoodie under it, but it's hot outside. But like in the winter or whatever, a hoodie under it and call it a day. That would be great. I don't know. They're always like so odd. I feel like it depends on the person and the structure of them as well. Because like one person can pull off wearing a jersey as like a dress to make it look good, and then another person like it just looks weird that way. And I find it the same with wearing short sleeve shirts under jerseys. Some people really pull it off, and I've done it before, and I'm like, I look crazy. Like I don't know what's happening. So no, I don't have any advice. But if you think it looks good, rock it. Because that's
There we go. There we go.
As long as you're comfortable as well.
That's what people need to hear. That's what I need to hear. Sometimes I will wear t-shirt under the jersey, under the basketball jersey, or I'll do like the hoodie in the wintertime. That's a popular one. I'll like wear a hoodie and then I'll put a jersey over it and I'll call it a day. Be like, you know what, I'm cold, but I'm gonna show off my jersey that I'm wearing.
Yeah.
I layer up. That's what I do in the wintertime. So many clothes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's needed.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how it is for you, but Chicago winters are brutal. You want to go into the Canadian winters?
Our winters are dreadful. I live in Ontario, so we like live by Lake Ontario, and it's actually really odd because like if you go like 10 minutes that way, it's the lake. And so we tend to get like an odd, like biting brisk when it's windy outside and it hurts your face and it's awful. And then our snow, like if it's going to snow, then it is going to like snow for hours and we're going to be snowed in, or it's just going to be like slushy everywhere. But I know up north a little bit has like even worse winters.
Yeah, lake effect snow is bad. I hate it so much.
Yeah, it still sucks. I absolutely hate winters. Try to go to Australia whenever the opportunity allows. So I want to get out of here.
I'm hoping that Nebraska winters aren't as bad as Chicago ones, although I'm here mostly for the winter time anyway. When I come back home, so it's like okay, I'm back in the cold in the winter time, and I hate it. So there we go.
It's the worst, and I hate being hot. Like the past few weeks for us have been really hot, but I hate being cold outside, especially when like there's nothing you can really do. Like actually, my COVID booster shot, the way that they like handed them out was so odd. I'm in like the immunocompromised group, whatever. So like I was in a priority group, but you had to find a place that was available and just line up for however long it takes. They weren't doing like bookings for it. So I had to go like probably an hour north, and I got there like 2 hours before it opened, but it was, oh gosh, gosh, you guys use Fahrenheit. I don't know what Fahrenheit it would be, but it was -24 Celsius. And I was not expecting it. And I had to stand outside for 2 hours and I thought I was going to freeze. I want to say it would be like, actually, no, it would be like 5 Fahrenheit maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's in the low, it's under 10,
I think.
probably. I also I'll get into fights with my Canadian friend. He'll be like, oh well, it's like oh, I can't even use an example in Celsius because I don't listen to him. I don't listen to him when he talks about the weather in Canada. And I'm like, well, it's 75 here, and he'll be like, oh well, let me do the math really quick, and he'll do it in his head, and I'll be like, you can just switch it on your phone. So like one time like, I was talking to him and I switched it on my phone to Celsius, and I'll be like, Gerald, did you know that it is like 15 degrees Celsius here? And he like looked at me and he goes, what did you just say? We're like, I changed it for you so we can have a conversation.
So much easier. Like Fahrenheit, I have like a general understanding. Like I know what's hot and I know what's cold, but I don't understand like how do you pinpoint a certain temperature? Like we know like 23 in the summer is cold, but if like 25 is like good. But I feel like in Fahrenheit, it just ranges so much.
Yeah. I'm a hater of the US, and the US needs to get their shit together and use the metric system, because I literally like I was in 7th grade and I was reading about it and I was like, okay, so we're learning about it in school, but we don't use it in real life. So what's the point? Why don't we just use it? We're like, there's 2 other countries besides the US that don't use the metric system, and it's like, that's ridiculous. And why do we have to be different?
I feel like it's just harder for you guys too. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, even with kilometers and meters, yards or whatever we have, like it's just so much easier.
Yeah. It's like all these different things, and it's like, you know what? Why? But I also don't want to take the time to learn the other stuff, because it's like, I tried. I didn't listen in school. I guess if we don't need it, then what's the point? I don't see myself living in another place besides the US.
True.
So I will continue to use my Fahrenheit, my grams, and all the other measurements, because that's all I know, unfortunately. That's all I know. And big F you to the United States for trying to be different. It doesn't work out all the time. Do better.
No, especially with like Americans traveling all the time. I feel like that would be a little difficult. But I mean, you always have your phone now, so you could just.
It's an easy conversion. You can ask your phone's AI what's up and be like, they know everything. So there's that. You ready for some rapid fire questions?
No. I'm the most indecisive person in the whole entire world. These things stress me out, but I'll do it. I'm excited.
So here's something. Because I like to talk about my family on my show. They told me one day, they're like, Gianna, your rapid fire questions, they're not so much rapid fire. And I'm like, you know what? It's my show. I call them rapid fire. But it's not like I expect you to answer in 5 seconds or only have like a 1-word answer, just like the name of it, because I am good at coming up with names for segments on my show.
Ooh.
I'm not good at coming up with rapid fire questions. My first question, which I've been forgetting to do for a while, if you're reading a book or listening to an audiobook, whatever it is, do you have a recommendation for the people listening to this episode?
I'm a huge fan of like thriller, true crime, and stuff where either you watch it or you read it and you're like, wait, can I swear? You're like, what the fuck did I just like read? And you have to go back and like figure everything out. The One by John Mars is an amazing book. It's about DNA testing kind of, but it's like weird to find like the love of your life. I just finished one. It's called, I think, like The Apple Doesn't Fall Far. The whole entire book is really, really good, and the ending is really bad. But I'd say still read it for the whole book because it's a cool storyline. But those are my 2 right now.
There's been a few books that I've read where it's like, oh, the story is so good, and then like they kill your favorite character, and it's like, you know what? I'm done. I give up.
No, the ending was so pointless. Like they could have done a million different things, and I think it was like the worst and worst possible ending. It's awful.
Yeah. I haven't been reading a bunch of books. I have Megan Rapinoe's book. I have like 2 chapters left, and I got it like 2 years ago, and I read it. I started reading it actually in January, and I've been so busy that I've been like slowly like reading it. So I'm not finished with it yet, but I'm very close. I'm trying to get back into reading, but it's
hard.
It's hard. I used to read so much, and now forget it.
Yeah.
Oh well, I used to be such a bookworm, and like when I was in 8th grade, I had this competition with my friend to see who could read the Harry Potter books the fastest, like all of them. I won, of course, because I'm very competitive. It took like, I want to say a few months.
Oh my gosh.
So, but I haven't done that. I haven't done a bunch of reading probably since like freshman year of high school. So I'm really lacking. That was like 6 years ago.
Yeah, it's very time consuming, especially like because I like to read the books that really just like interest me and intrigue me. I can't put it down. Like I was finishing The Apple Doesn't Fall Far. I don't even know if that's what it's called. I don't know where it is. It's something like that. And I think one day I like sat out in the backyard. I was okay, I'm gonna tan for a little bit and read. And it was on like page 100 something. And then next thing you know, it was like 7 o'clock. I completely missed the timeline to like film and post a video. And I was getting to like the last pages. And I was like, well, shit, there went my day.
Yeah. You forget like that time is a thing when you're reading. And so it's just like, oh my God, like I just spent 3 hours reading this book. Yeah,
And then
there goes your day.
And you're like, oh damn, what am I gonna do now?
Yeah. My next question for you is, if you were to do a collaboration of sorts for your TikTok page, is there anybody, like an athlete or anybody in general, that you would like to collaborate with?
That's a very difficult question. Like collaborate as in like a sponsorship or brand
Do
deal?
a video with, or it could be like a sponsor, whatever you want.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. I think one of my dream ones is Wilson, because I'm like a huge tennis fan. I think it'd be cool to do like some tennis outfits or something like that. But people wise, I'm trying to think. There's a lot of like really actually Kelsey Plum probably. I feel like that'd be really fun.
Yeah, her the video with her and Kathy Engelbert, that's funny.
So funny. Oh
that's the funniest thing that Kathy has ever done and will probably ever do in her time as commissioner. I'm always mad at her all the time. But that one thing was okay.
I think she I haven't told anybody this. On the way back from the All-Star weekend, I was like in the airport and I just walked around. Like I had to check in at one terminal and then put my bag in a different one. It was hot outside and it was awful. And I was like not functioning whatsoever because it was the end of the weekend. It was really bad. I was not in my best form. And I go through security and I see like somebody standing kind of like at the wall, like when you walk forward. It's like, damn, that looks like Kathy Engelbert. Kathy, it looks like Kathy. And they gave us like these huge boxes. So like a whole bunch of little gifts and everything from All-Star Weekend. It has her name on it. And I was carrying it because it's like the size of a suitcase. And so I was like, okay, I think that's her. I don't know for sure. I don't want to go up to her and be like, is this you? And like have it not be and have it be awkward. I was not feeling good. So I start walking and then I hear like her be like, oh, she was there this weekend. Oh, she's with us. She's part of like the influencer group. I was like, well, shit. So I turn around and I was like, I heard you mentioned WNBA. And then like, yeah, and we like talked about the weekend a little bit. And I went to ask the girl who she was with if she works for the league. But instead I asked, do y'all work for the league? So pretty much asking Kathy if she works with the league. And before I could say, oh, I know you do, then the girl was like, oh, she's the commissioner. So it was very, very awkward. And then after that, things kind of just got weird. I was like, okay, bye.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was not good. Like, I still think it haunts me.
That would haunt me too. Were you at O'Hare? Is that where you were at the airport?
I think so.
Yeah. You had to go all the way out to Rosemont to leave? Because that's like outside the city, or were you at Midway? That's kind of like in the city.
It took us like half an hour to get there. Maybe 20 minutes.
Were you flying back to Canada?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably at O'Hare.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the Chicago airports. So I always like to ask what people's experiences are there. Do you have any fun memories from your time in the airport? The food there sucks.
Oh, I didn't eat, but when we got there, I had to walk to a whole other terminal to get my bag.
Yeah.
Which, like, what? And then Aaliyah got in at, like, I think terminal 1, and I was in terminal 3. I had to walk all the way over to her. And then leaving, it was like the same type of thing. But Aaliyah and I like met up between terminals because we were a little bit early. And I walked to my flight like half an hour early just to be safe. And I think the walk was like to the furthest point of the building or something. It took me definitely like 20 minutes at least. But it was really pretty. There were lights and stuff, but it just was not fun.
Yeah, it's not a fun experience. Not at all.
Yeah.
Moving on. Name a WNBA player and an NWSL player that has the best fits in their respective leagues.
Ooh, Diamond DeShields has been doing really good recently. I could name so many WNBA ones.
Yeah.
I'll just do one of each. I'll answer your question. NWSL. Ooh. Megan has some good fits. Ashlyn Harris. Mandy Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
Really good. Those are, I know you said one, but those are my answers.
Yeah, I think Mandy Freeman, Estelle Johnson, honestly, the entire Gotham.
Their fit check was probably the most intimidated I've ever felt in my whole time. It was a great environment. Like,
yeah,
there was no pressure, nothing. But I was like, how the hell am I supposed to do this? Like, it's
like I could never do that. I also don't think I have the best fits in the entire world. So it's like my shoe collection, not the best. I only have like Vans and that's it. Vans and a few Nikes. So it's like, whatever. I don't know how people are able to do those because I can't. And just like,
I feel pressure for every event that I go to have like a good fit. I mean, I like being like well dressed, but it's just a little bit annoying because I leave it to the last minute as well. Mm-hmm. So the day before, I'll be like running to all these malls and like trying to figure stuff out. It's really stressful, but it's kind of fun.
I read in your Insta bio for your sports page that you were starting a podcast, possibly. Are you still going to do that?
Yes, I'm working on it. Also, that page, I had such good intentions with that page and I forgot about it for a sec. And then I had like an identity crisis and I was like, wait, should I just make my own Instagram that page? But I don't really want to. It's going to come back at some point. But podcast, yes, I'm planning on starting it. I just need a week like to start it where I know that I'm not going to run into like any conflicts with time, because if I like miss one episode, then the next week I will probably miss another one. And when I planned to start it, all of a sudden I was like, I had something every single week and I didn't have time to like edit whatever. So it's coming. I just don't know when.
Making a podcast is difficult. I wish you luck with that. It's hard to keep it going, especially well, I mean, you kind of have a platform already, so it's kind of easier to start it. I started out from scratch, so it's like, oh God, are people even listening to my show? Some people are. So I wish you luck with that. Let me know when you start that up so I can promote it everywhere. Everywhere that Women's Sports Matter has a page. My final lightning round, rapid fire question, whatever the hell you want to call it, question is, do you have a favorite team across the pond, in like a favorite soccer team in Europe?
Oh, in Europe. I thought you meant across the pond, like across the lake.
Across the pond. Like,
Oh,
people say that for like England, I think. I don't know. I don't know how phrases work.
I have to go. I don't know, maybe a Chelsea because my girl Sam Kerr. Oh, so much love for
I was
that.
gonna say, if you were gonna say Arsenal, I would have just ended the podcast with that. No, I'm kidding. But
I haven't like followed it that much. I feel like it's a little bit more entertaining. But the seasons also really confused me last year. And I only like really got into women's sports and everything like last year. So I'm still kind of like going through the ropes. But yeah, maybe Chelsea.
do you watch more NWSL than anything else, or do you watch more like
I follow
WNBA?
NWSL more.
Okay.
It's really hard to watch it here. Like if I'm watching it, I'm most likely streaming it. The W is a little bit better here because NBA TV now plays the W pretty often. But yeah, was the question for favorite WNBA and NWSL as well? Or just
You could do that too. I don't really care.
I don't think I hate having favorite teams because I like to be unbiased. For NWSL, Gotham has been very, very good to me. So I like Gotham. They've been having an awful season, but I like the people.
Yeah.
And Portland, because they were my first mutual. Portland Thorns were my first mutual on TikTok. And they've been there like since the very, very start. So I want to get out to a game there as well. And then for the W, I don't have a favorite team. It's easy to say the Aces, but
May I suggest the Chicago Sky?
yeah, I'm down for that.
May I suggest all the Chicago teams?
Red Stars. I think the only game I've watched of the Red Stars, this sounds awful, but I think it was the finals.
Yeah.
Last year.
Not so great final that I watched. Yeah.
And it was wild this year though.
It is. Houston has been very surprising.
Yeah.
For sure.
But also like how is Carolina NC Courage doing that?
Yeah, I'm gonna refrain from talking about North Carolina because North Carolina and I have beef. But
who doesn't have beef with them? Like, but I try to be as respectful as possible.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to be respectful.
I'll like type something out and I'll be like, oh, I'm on my podcast account. Delete.
Oh, my drafts on Twitter are like wild. But yeah, I'm still a little bit shocked. Like even didn't they win Challenge Cup?
The Courage, yeah.
And they're like, are they still in last place? Last time I checked, they were.
Maybe. Possibly. I don't remember. I know Gotham's in one step above left. So
it's so sad. Like I wanted the best for them.
I'm rooting for Chicago. It's like I'm proud of them, like for being able to do all that with what happened last year, and getting a new coach and playing all those rookies, and just the talent on that squad is unbelievable. I am very biased though because I'm interviewing players from the team and I've been rooting for them for a few years, and it's my hometown team. So I'm so very biased.
I did not know Red Stars were an actual thing. When we landed in Chicago and we were driving a little bit, there was the whole logo, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so nice of them like to do that for Chicago Red Stars. And then the more I kept on seeing, I was like, wait,
that's the flag of the city of Chicago.
Okay, that's what I thought, because I'm like, this is a little too much. Like, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, they the flag is 4 stars for a bunch of different things. They were going to add a 5th star for the Olympics, but they never got the Olympics because Rio got the Olympics. So that was a thing that had happened. But yeah, the city of Chicago has red stars on it and then the blue stripes. And the red stars are called the Red Stars because of the flag.
Interesting. Never knew that.
The more you know.
Exactly.
All right, before we end today's show, I always ask people if there's anyone you would like to shout out before we end the episode.
Any person?
Anybody.
Oh. Shout out to people who follow me, because thank you so much. Like, they have changed my life, or you, if you're listening, have changed my life so much, and I'm very, very thankful. That's my biggest shout out. I'll shout them out every day of the year.
Shout out to 100, 2,000, whatever the number is. I don't know. It's a big number.
Hopefully it grows.
All right. Where can the people listening to today's episode follow you on socials?
TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter is Sports with Logs, sports with, and then LOGS. Actually, for the longest time, I've been called Logs because a lot of people didn't know my name was Logan. It was I felt so bad correcting people, so I just went along with it. And then I do have like my personal Instagram, which is Logan Olivia with 2 A's. And I don't know, I guess you guys will find out when I will, which one I'm going to use more, whether it's Sports with Logs or Logan Olivia. I'm so confused. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
All right. Now it's time for my least favorite part of the episode, is doing my very long spiel. It's where I'll take a second and regroup and try to remember all my handles as well as things that I'm trying to promote at the end of my episodes. Okay, I'm ready. If you want to follow me on social media, guess what? You can. I am on 4 different places. On Twitter, you can follow me at WSportsMatter. And on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, it's Women Sports Matter. See, I made it super easy for you to follow because it's literally the name of the show. Also, if you want to follow the 2 other shows a part of the Women Sports Matter podcast network, it's Don't Touch My Jersey and More Than 5%, and those social media handles are down below in the description. We've got a bunch of resources also in the description. We've got NAMI. We've got Register to Vote if you live in the U.S. If you're still looking for a COVID vaccine and you live in the U.S., that is also available down below. Also, there are the pages for the players' associations of the WNBA, PHF, and NWSL. Oh, and I think the U.S. women's national team as well for the United States. I think. Maybe. I don't know. Another thing I'm promoting this season is supporting your local women's sports team. There's sports teams all over the country and wherever you live outside of the U.S., because I'm mostly talking about the U.S. because I live in the United States. So for me, my local teams are the Sky, the Red Stars, Chicago City, Chicago Dutch Lions. It's mostly soccer teams in my area. So not really much after that. But if you live in, let's say if you live in Toronto, guess what? There's the Toronto Six. Go support the Toronto Six, the PHF
The one
Stars.
and only.
The one and only. And there's like a Montreal team too, apparently. So we'll see when the logo and colors and all that get unveiled. But go support your local women's sports team. Women's sports are fun. Go watch. Here's a little self-promo for me. I am holding a women's sports night at my place of work. I am holding Women's Sports Night at the Kane County Cougars in Geneva, Illinois. So if you live in Illinois or maybe close by and you're interested in hanging out to see a baseball game and hearing a conversation from people involved in the women's sports world, make sure you go to the Women's Sports Night at King County, August 17th at 6:30. Also, go subscribe to the Women's Sports Matter YouTube channel if you want to see this episode and more. Make sure to go subscribe. We're 25 subscribers strong. That's going to be it for me today. I am going to get ready for work.
You have
and
to work?
do other things. Yeah, I work. I do other things besides. I have a few jobs.
How do you have time?
I don't.
I cry every day because I just need more time.
I picked up a few shifts at my I used to work at a daycare during school, and so I took a month off last month because of All-Star Weekend and King County, and I did 50-50 for the Chicago Fire, so I was doing a bunch of stuff, and so it's usually a morning job, but I picked up 2 night shifts this week, so that starts at 4:30. But
oh my god, okay, go.
No,
Isn't that in 4 minutes?
It's 3:30 here.
I was freaking out. I was like, oh
No.
my god.
No, usually when I end an episode, I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go do this. But that's soon. It's not.
No,
It's not now.
I watched a TikTok and it was this girl and her friend was like, hey, and no, she's like, what time is my therapy at? And the girl's like 10:30. She's like, what time is it? And she's like 10:29. And the girl zooms out of the apartment. It kind of reminded me of that. I always forget that you're an hour behind.
Yes. I love being in Central Time. It's nice.
It kind of seems like the place to be. I hate Pacific. Pacific is just, it's too far behind.
I went to Portland for a basketball tournament a few years ago. Not a few years ago, like 5 years ago. And I loved it so much, like being in Pacific time, because it's like I could wake up at 6:30 and I would be fine.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I was the first one up because it's like I wake up late anyway. So if I wake up at 6:30, it's like the same. It's 8:30. I'm waking up at 8:30, and all the other girls were so tired, and I'm like, I'm up. I'm the first one up. I don't care. Like I'm ready to go. What are you doing?
Yeah, I feel like that's nice if you like sleep in. I wake up so early. Like I cannot sleep in probably past like 8 or 8:30. So it always kills me when I go up there. It's the worst. And transitioning in Australia time, I don't even know what time zone that is crazy as well.
I'm lucky I'm not moving time zones. Nebraska is cut off weird, but I'm all the way on the eastern side of the state. So part of the state is in mountain time and the other part is in central. So
Don't think that in India, either Indiana or Illinois.
Indiana is eastern. Illinois is all central.
A part of it.
Texas is cut off. And maybe that's what you're thinking of. Texas is cut off. Eastern.
Where I was in central. I was central.
In Indiana?
No, in Texas.
In Texas?
But I could have sworn there's like one small part of either Illinois or Indiana. I forget which one. Actually, it might be Indiana, closer to the bottom. And it's like
that would make sense.
I don't know the way.
Because the cutoff is at the Lake Michigan and it goes down, follows the shape of the state. So all Illinois is in central time. And then I don't know how far it goes down to the Gulf.
I think it goes to like Louisiana or something.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not well versed in the time zone world.
Are you excited to go to Nebraska?
Maybe.
Are you going to like University of Nebraska?
University of Nebraska Lincoln. So the bigger of the school system.
Oh, sweet.
Big Ten athletics. Don't really care about football. People keep asking me about football. Like, Gianna, are you on a football game? No. No, I'm not. Are you kidding me? No.
I'm thankful that my school had a very bad football team because it just doesn't. I see girls getting ready and drinking all day and looking like, I don't know, like they're cute outfits, but it just seems like a lot to do.
And you're standing for like 5-6 hours on those bleachers. Like, no.
Not interesting unless it's like a rival or something. Then maybe it's interesting because of like the circumstances.
Yeah, I've got some interviews set up to be a student manager for a few of the women's sports teams there. So that's what I'm going to be doing, hopefully.
Sweet.
So.
I think, is it volleyball that they're good at?
Volleyball is huge. Softball won Big Ten championship last year. Soccer, not so hot. Basketball made it to the second round of the tournament last year. So some decent women's sports teams. Baseball, I don't think they have men's soccer. Football, I don't really care about. So I'm just chilling with the women's sports stuff. I'm just glad that there's good women's sports teams out there. I will miss the Sky and the Red Stars very much though. So
but at least it's like at college you have like all year round type of thing.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, if I want to go see swimming and diving, that's a thing that I could do. If I want to see tennis, if I want to see, they have beach volleyball there.
Ooh.
So I was very surprised seeing that. I was like, beach volleyball in Nebraska? What?
Yeah.
They have rifle there. Like there's so much. There's more women's sports teams there than men's.
Love that. Fuck Title IX, reverse it. Like, I love that so much. I want to see that because there's so many sports who have so much more men than women. You're like, what?
There's a lot there. So I was surprised to see, but a lot of good stuff to go to. So if you're going to Nebraska, you wanna know about women's sports, I got you.
I might. The States is just so fascinating to me because I mean, like Canada's bigger than the States, but I feel like it's very like broken up and we know what each place has, whereas like the States there's 50.
Yeah.
And they're all so different. But maybe I'll make my way over.
Tourney time when Big Ten tourney is happening in Minneapolis for basketball.
Gymnastics is good too.
Gymnastics. Yes. I forgot about them. I also know they did pretty well last year.
I think they're close to the finals if they
Yes.
weren't.
They were a part of the tournament. I don't really remember. I remember seeing about it. I think I did a few tweets about it. Don't really know much about the gymnastics world. I guess that's another thing I gotta cover.
It's wild.
Yeah. It really is something.
Yeah.
Did you see the Suni Lee first pitch for the Twins?
I did. That was adorable.
I was like, how do people do that?
Right? I want to learn. One of my biggest like dreams, actually, no, it's not. It's one of the like stupid dreams is to throw a pitch at the Jays game.
Mhm.
But one, I can't do anything interesting. Like I feel like that would be in my mind, like do a flip or something. But I also feel like my throw would just be awful. Like there's no point. But it's so nerve-wracking to do a first pitch in front of everybody, let alone do like a little flippy thing.
Mhm.
Like,
You want to do a first pitch? Come over to Kane County Cougars. We'll set you up.
No, I actually will do it. Like, let me work on it for a little bit, and then I'll let you know.
Our season ends in September, I think, and I think we're going to the playoffs because we're good for some reason. I don't know. We're usually bad, but if my employers are listening, I love my team so much that I work for, and we're totally good, and we're not bad at all. And I don't complain about the games when I'm working either, but we're doing surprisingly well. And so if you're ever in Illinois and you're ever in Geneva, Illinois, which is like an hour 30 out from the city, you want to throw a first pitch, let me know. It's low stakes. It's independent baseball. It's not like the Jays.
Okay. What league is it?
It is in the American Association. There's actually a team in Winnipeg in our league, the Winnipeg Gold Eyes. So
Interesting.
So there's your other fun fact of the day. So much information that is being learned today on this show. The most information ever, probably.
So much random stuff too.
I know. I know. I'm gonna make an episode where it's like 50 fun facts that you can learn here on Women's Sports Matter, and it's just like a bunch of random different things. Like, I don't know. I also said I was gonna turn the show. I was gonna have a comedy hour on here.
Oh my gosh, I'd love that. I love like anything comedy.
Yeah, I don't think I'm funny, but I posted a TikTok on my personal page where I was at a live show, and I was sitting by myself, and there weren't that many people in the room, because I was at like this it's called Fan Expo, so it's more like a pop culture thing, but I know the guy that does PR there, and so I do a live show there. There are only a few people there, but they used to have the podcast stage out on the main floor, but they put us in a room all the way back in the convention center, so nobody knew that I was back there except for the people that actually read the pamphlet. And I was sitting there by myself, and I was like, and this was the end of the show, and I didn't really know what to talk about anymore, and I ran out of ideas, and so I was like, I really wish I had someone next to me. And I turned and I point to the chair that's next to me, and I'm like, if there was someone sitting here, I could just go off of what they're saying. But I turn around and I was like, so chair, how do you feel about what's going on in the women's sports world? And I was like, see, I can't answer because it's an inanimate object. And so I was just like, and I posted that, and somebody's like, not everyone needs a podcast. Well, I want one. So
that's the thing. Like, yes, the market is oversaturated, but it also depends on A, you and what you want to do, and B, like, I feel like this niche isn't really popular or really that oversaturated anyways. Like, if you're talking to, I don't know, I feel like the celebrity niche is really, really oversaturated, or like the reality TV stars to podcast pipeline is like insane. But it's such a unique niche. Like, do your podcast. Who cares?
It's like, I don't really tell people about it. I went on my team's broadcast yesterday because they were because our main broadcaster was out of town, so the color commentator was taking over, and he just wanted to talk to a few people when we were doing it. And so I was telling him about my show, and I was like, you know what? I was bored. I started it. I don't really like telling people about my podcast because I don't think it's a thing that people should know about. Like, I didn't even tell my mom about it for a while, and then she found out. She's like, Gianna, I don't know how I feel about you posting stuff on the internet. I was like, oh, we're going back to this again. But when I started becoming a little bit successful, she's like, "Oh, this is so cool. Like, look, you're talking to these people." And I'm like, "Oh, change your heart, eh? Like, what are you doing?" But I don't really like talking about, like, I don't know. Social media is so weird. It's like I have to like post about my show to like my other audience, and it's like, oh well, now all these people that I went to school know I host a show, and now it's like, oh well, it's just the social media thing is so weird.
No, that is my internal battle that I'm going through with like posting on my Instagram or not, because I know posting on I know I should be posting my like TikToks onto Reels or like repurposing it, whatever. But my biggest thing and the only thing that's holding me back is like I don't want this person who I went to like grade school with and don't talk to.
Mhm.
I don't think it's embarrassing. I just feel like it's weird. And like because this is what I do, like I don't want them going through my page. And even when my friends or like somebody who I'm not that close with, it's like, hey, I saw your TikTok.
Yeah.
Inside, I'm like, do not talk about it. Like that's enough.
I feel that.
Like,
I feel that. It's like, and I'm like so embarrassed of like myself from when I was little. And so now it's like these people that knew me when I was little, and now I'm doing this, and it's like I guess I have like this professional persona, I guess, when you're an interviewer and you have to have like act a certain way and do all this, and then people know you as this goofy little son of a gun that would go around interrogating people and like just being a goofball, and so you've got that, and it's like, oh, I remember when you used to do this, and now you're like talking to people for a living, and it's like, well, no, cut that last part off, not for a living, as a hobby. And then like it's just so weird. It's like, you should not see that. This is for a whole other audience. And if you do see it, do not talk to me about it, because I don't need that conversation. Like I don't even talk about it at work. Someone brought it up, like, oh, I'm gonna listen to your show. I forgot you were doing that, blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay, thank you for telling me that. Now I feel embarrassed about it a little bit more.
yeah, so. I'd be like, don't watch it.
And they're like, yeah, no, you don't need to see that. But there are times.
Give you the full notes.
There are times when I'll be like, yo, like to my family, you need to see this. Like it's so funny. But that's really it. I'm embarrassed of my show sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes.
Yeah. No, I completely understand where you're coming from, because I'm the same way. And I've had other people. Actually, I think like 2 days ago, I had a meeting with somebody and we were just talking about that. He's like, you need to start posting on Reels. Like, yeah, I know. And I told him about everything. He's like, did that really just come out of your mouth? Like, you post on TikTok multiple times a day.
Yeah.
Anybody can see your videos, and you're scared to post your Reels on your Instagram because a lot of your followers like know you personally. I'm like, yeah, yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Well, that's why you create the separate accounts.
Yeah, and that's why I think I'm gonna roll with it, because I'd also rather, like, if I do like turn something into a sports account, I want to be able to like post stories where it's like myself, or like just talking myself, or like something with my face in it, whatever. And I feel like on my personal Instagram, it's just like, it's not the vibe. It's just so different. Yeah. But I want to be able to be myself and like not hold back because of that. Even if one day I'm like, okay, I have no fears, like I'm gonna go and just post on my regular Instagram, I know like a couple days later I'll be like, no, I don't know how I feel anymore.
It's like I look back at my tweets that I've made. I don't really tweet a lot. I'm getting more into it now, like personal tweets, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna tweet about this. Let's delete that.
Oh, I do that all the time.
Yeah. Let's get rid of that. I don't need anybody like going through my stuff and be like, that's not funny. I'm not a comedian, so they shouldn't take it seriously.
I'm also more scared to like something that I find funny or like just like it because I see it, and then it ends up like getting me canceled or something.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. I'll be like, I'll like send myself tweets from my podcast account to my personal, so I can like it from that one, because I see that I'm like, oh, that's hilarious, but I can't like it from my account.
Yeah,
that's weird. So I forget like the separation of my personal and my podcast. I spend more time on my podcast one than my personal. So that's like that little divide too. If there's like a funny meme and it's like, oh, you can't like a baseball meme on your women's sports page, Gianna, get with the program.
Or even like some of the hate stuff. I'm like, okay, I relate, but I don't
yeah. No, like So
the worst.
the beginning of my podcast in April, May 2020, when the Challenge Cup was a thing, I made some tweets about Hinkle. And I made an episode or two about Hinkle. I have deleted those.
I need to listen.
I deleted those.
Oh, you did?
I deleted them. They're on YouTube, I think.
They might go up in views.
Let me see if they're still on YouTube. Because I took it off because I was like, okay, Gianna, you're rebranding your show and you're becoming a podcast network. And I feel like, some of those would be taken in like poor taste. Yeah. And so I don't want people to be like, yo, what's up with that? I don't know what is up with that. That was 2 years ago. I don't remember what I said. I don't listen to my episodes. Like, let's see if it's still there. I have everything separated in a playlist. So that would be season 1.
That's smart. It was with McCall too. There were a couple like that. It was like, yeah, I don't think I ended up liking or retweeting any of them because I was like, I don't even know. And especially because I have mutuals, like, and I'm connected to the league or with Gotham. I hate to come off as like, on the hating side, but like, need to learn.
Those episodes are still up, and they're the NWSL Challenge Cup and politics and sports. So if you do want to listen to me be upset for about 40 minutes between those two, go ahead. But like I made a tweet about Hinkle on whenever their Pride game was. And I had so many losers in my comment sections. Nobody DM'd me, thank goodness. But they were complaining, like someone with like the title of like Free Speech Matters commented, like the first one to comment. And I was like, that's ironic that you're in my comment section. I turned my comments off and then I just blocked people at that point. But it's like, like I tweeted my thing. I was upset. Deal with it. Move on. Yeah. But
Go ahead.
I was like, I hate Hinkle. Like, I don't hate people, but I hate Hinkle. I hate the front office of North Carolina. And I'm afraid to say that sometimes because like, well, I do get emails from North Carolina, like their press emails and stuff. And I would like to be on that list still. I think there needs to be some way where we can talk about these things and we can talk negatively about these teams, but we should still be able to cover them. So there has to be some sort of divide where we can still call you out, but we still deserve to have access to your coverage.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a huge thing. And even like calling them out in a way that like to show that like you're trying to hold them accountable. And like if you don't call anybody out, then obviously they're not going to learn it. It's not going to be a big deal. But yeah, I think NC's front office is a little wild. I feel like there needs to be like a good amount of change. NWSL has come very far, but I feel like there needs to like be a little bit more, especially with like almost like NIL stuff, like actually more like image and likeness, like some training or something, or like requirements, or stuff's getting a little out of hand.
Yeah, I just the fact that they moved the E60 doc from what was it last week until
I don't even know.
We don't even know.
Yeah, that was I was shocked when I saw that too, and then to turn
because there's more information, and like the first thing I thought of was Rory Dames. That's the first thing that popped into my head because when they were filming that, and if they wanted it out in July, there was no way that they would have all that information. And plus with the Houston coach and probably with Portland front office, there's another thing. Other players maybe that are talking now. So
yeah, I would be curious. Honestly, I watched a little bit of the trailer, but like I couldn't tell like the timeline of like when it's been done. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of more stuff has come out, especially I feel like something might come out with Amanda Cromwell.
Oh yeah, Orlando too. I forget about Orlando all the time. I
don't even, they've just gone so downhill. Like I don't understand it.
Yeah. I totally forgot about Orlando. That's like just like it makes me such a hater of the NWSL. And it's like I want to cover the league, but my coverage can't be complete without being able to openly criticize. Like, my page is not like just women's sports or the gist. I'm like, we can say this stuff because it's a podcast account. My intention with the rebrand was not to be like a news organization. I didn't want to do that because I still want there to be a space where it's like we can openly say things and have a conversation and be a community and just talk about it. So I use my thumbs to tweet out some stuff. I used to have some hate tweets to some of the owners, maybe Chicago and Portland. I have beef with Arnhem, and Merrick blocked me on Twitter. Although I don't think he has a Twitter anymore, so I don't think it matters.
Oh my god, what? How?
Portland owner blocked Women's Sports Matter on Twitter because I called them out saying that the Timbers didn't deserve to be in the final. They didn't deserve to win, I should say, not to be in the final. They didn't deserve to win because he's a shitty owner. And his front office is effed up. And they don't treat the Portland players right, the Thorns. I don't know anything about the MLS side, but the NWSL players deserve better. And that was my goal. And he blocked me.
What the hell?
Arnhem still follows me, though, even though I've talked shit about him. I've talked shit about him in my live show. I've talked shit about him on Twitter Spaces, and every time I see him interact with my stuff on Twitter, because he still follows me, I'll be like, this man has the audacity to like my tweets and retweet some of my stuff, and I'm just like, ridiculous. I think he has short-term memory. I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
he still interacts with my
I would
stuff.
expect to lose that so fast. Like, I'd be so scared about that. But I mean, I guess it's not really somebody who you want like to keep a follow from. You're not.
Yeah, I still follow him to keep tabs. That's what I tell people, because I don't really have any active interest in learning what he has to say, because he doesn't really say much. So, yeah, I hate Arnhem, and that's a fact. And I'm saying it on my show again because I'm not scared to say it, but I am scared to tweet it. So, use my words, not tweets.
Said maybe tweet it, but don't.
Maybe tweet. I'll keep it in the drafts.
One day I feel like I get like too giddy and just be like, you know what, fuck this, and like go, and then I'd be like lost. I'm so scared to like cancel myself, to be honest. But I don't know what I get canceled for, but like that's one of my biggest fears. But there's a lot of stuff that I do hold back because I'm like, I can't say this, like especially on TikTok. Anybody can do it, like shit's wild.
And it's like I want to talk about it, but I can't. It's like, I don't know. I don't even have that big of a following on Twitter anyway, or on my personal Twitter. But I also don't want people to be like, yo, so you're the person that runs this account and you're saying this stuff. It's like, well, I can say stuff still. It's like, not like absolutely bad stuff, but like, you know, this team sucks. Don't really tweet that much.
You're still entitled to your own opinions, even if you work in the industry. I think that's still important. But no, I personally like seeing people like being called out because I mean it probably sucks for them, but I like to see people being held accountable and like other people sharing the same thoughts as you about one other person.
One particular NWSL player.
She does it to herself. Like,
yeah. It's like, why go back to a league where you are not very much liked? And I just feel bad for the teammates, but I don't know how they feel, so I don't want to get into that because it's like, we'll never know.
No, I feel like there could be a possibility. Like, I feel like in that circumstance, it is a little bit hard, like, because part of you is like, well, okay, it's her religion, like, respect her religion, whatever. But then at the same time, I'm like, there's so many people who are religious. I am a believer. I do not believe in anything that she believes in. Like, I'm a very, 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 I guess, a modern, you would say, believer. Like, nobody would be able to tell because it doesn't go with the flow of, like, basic Christianity or whatever. But there's also nothing in the Bible that says that stuff. Yeah. But it could be, like, hard, I guess, depending on who you are, maybe, to be like, okay, like, you can't force your beliefs upon her. Like, she's not forcing them upon us. But there's a difference between beliefs and support. And I feel like they're two completely different things. And religion and, like, homophobia is just, like, what? Where's this going from?
They're not the word homosexuality was written into the Bible in the 1940s, I think.
It's in the Bible?
It was written into the Bible.
Yeah.
but it's like the American translation of Hebrew or something, or like mistranslations from like between like 15 different languages to get into the English version for the Bible itself. And so this is what people run with these days.
Whatever happened to love thy neighbor?
Yeah,
Like,
whatever happened to that? That's a great question.
just love everybody, support everybody. Like, you're not them. Like, you don't have to be a person you're supporting. You don't have to like even post on social media and be like, hey, look, I'm with this person. Like, no, just wear rainbow. Be there.
Wear rainbow. I'm wearing my rainbow shirt today because again, I don't have that many clothes in my drawer. So what a shirt to wear for today's conversation, end of episode conversation.
Perfect.
The rainbow shirt.
Meant to happen.
Yes. I'm gonna redo my ending spiel.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm just gonna cut it so it's like we continued our conversation. Because the magic of editing, and I will not get rid of my squeaky folding chair that has been in the background this entire episode. I hate this chair. I don't have a real desk, so I sit at a TV table and whatever the stupid mini table is, and then my folding chair. Anyway, ending spiel. If you want to follow me on social media, guess what? You can. I am on 4 different places. On Twitter, it is at WSportsMatter, and on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, it is Women's Sports Matter. I've made it so easy for you to follow because it's the name of the show. Super, super easy. You're welcome. There's also a YouTube page. So if you want to see this episode and other content, make sure you subscribe to Women's Sports Matter. We are 25 subscribers strong. There's a bunch of resources linked down below. There's NAMI, Trevor Project, the Players Association pages for various leagues in the US. So go check those out. Register to vote. Vaccine. Mostly links for US people. But if you're from other places, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. There's research you can do to find out links to help you if you need any information on those things. Follow the other podcasts, a part of the Women's Sports Matter Network, More Than 5%, and Don't Touch My Jersey, which you can find down below in the description. I don't think I have anything else to promote other than go support your local women's sports team. That's going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Women's Sports Matter podcast. Again, my name is Gianna Castro, and I am your host, and I will see you next week with another interview because that's all I do on this show. Anyway, thank you again, Logan, for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. Very exciting.
Appreciate your time. Very, very much long time today. But that's all, folks. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.